My name is Dina Beth, and I love talking about winning in life, winning in business, winning in marriage. Anything that helps us win more is where it's at. And I am so excited to have you here today. We're meeting in the Lightstream world, and I love Lightstream. It's a free app here. It's a studio. So I'm going to just pop the link in here for you so you can join me. Anybody willing to join will be, again, a guest on the stream. Such a joy to have you here. This is an opportunity for us as business owners and entrepreneurs to come together and have conversations. And it's my joy to be part of this. It has been an incredible morning so far, and I'm so delighted to share some of that with you. In the meantime, I'd love to know who's joining us, where you're coming in from. Tell me, are you coming in on the replay? Please type replay here in the chat. I'm just making a note here to let folks know to join us at this particular site so we can all be together. The goal is to really come together with our own little cuppa, whatever that might be for you. In this case, mine is, something healthy with turmeric, and so cheers this morning. My goal is to meet with you every Tuesday morning virtually. I invite you to bring your coffee, your tea, come together, and let's see if we can't have a conversation. See if there's something value that we can bring to each other, because I believe that so much of what we are about is really the connections is where it's at. That's where we grow. That's where we get the answers that we're looking for. That's where we get the things that help us really, resolve, move through, get past the challenges or the things that are, getting in the way of the winning that we want to have happening in our business or in our marriage or in our relationship with our teenager or with this employee that you don't want to fire, but they're, so valuable. You can't imagine life without them, but you just can hardly tolerate some of the things that have been going on. So the goal is to really have conversations around those difficult conversations. How do we navigate those difficult conversations that make life bearable once we get on the other side of them? And it's my joy to have this conversation because I can't think of anything else I'd rather talk about. It's where I spend my time with my children. It's where I spend my time with my clients. It's where I spend my time with myself. For those of you that don't know, I am doing everything in my power to make it to my 5-year-old's 15th birthday, and I have been losing that battle lately. So I have had the most incredible outpouring of love and kindness and generosity come from family members and friends recently. I'll be posting a picture of a card that came through the door this morning. So much emotion. I mean, just before this live, I was just sobbing because there's so many of us out here ready to help support you, and you're not alone in the journey. And when you're losing, you're losing. And in my case, I'm losing to breast cancer, and it's something I am getting animated about because I desire to win. I desire to live, and I want to make it to my daughter's 15th birthday. My big picture, and being that I don't have questions in our queue today, in fact, I just checked that real quick. We have a little place where you can enter questions, by the way, and this is a place where we can come together and really support each other in getting answers. So if you're having, any kind of business question or any kind of hard conversation question, what you want to do is pop your question in this coffee Q&A. It's on the Google Drive, and then we can come together as a group and support you in getting the answer that you're seeking. So again, my joy is seeing you getting the answers you're looking for, and it's no small thing when we feel supported in the journey. So again, the tears, I know, I totally get it, but I just want to make sure that you have access to this resource in your life because we are coming together as a support. Let me just write here, excuse me, my bubbles. So I have a Google Drive link that is being posted here, and you're sure welcome to pop on there anytime add your question so that we can come together as a group, again, as entrepreneurs, as small business owners, and talk about the answer to your specific question. So again, you have a link to meet with us. We're meeting at Lightstream right now. In the future, we'll be meeting in Zoom. And of course, the Zoom allows us to have all of our pictures on the screen. And we can all discuss your specific question and then give you the answers you're looking for. And the goal, again, is to make this virtual. So you don't even have to leave the comfort of your home. You don't have to find parking. You don't have to be, creative about, getting dressed today. You can stay in your PJs if you need. And still, excuse me, dribbles, a little bit of something going on there. We want to see you well. We want to see you supported. We want to see you getting answers, and that's what we're here for. The virtual coffee Q&A, in my mind, is growing to many hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of people that come together to support one another in the journey of being an entrepreneur. No small thing, being an entrepreneur. Being a business owner is no small thing. We deserve to be supported. I had a 21-year-old daughter come to me and say, I'm starting a bakery. And we launched that journey almost 5 years ago. She's now close to 40 employees. She's just really making miracles happen. She's only 25, but she has 2 companies now, a brewery and a bakery. And I feel like because of the fact that she had a place to go with her questions when she, was having those difficult conversations, when she didn't know how to, where to turn, when an employee was acting out, or when her husband was having a hard time getting on board with her vision, or when things were not going well, she wondered what to do. And she was able to connect with me, her mother, which we're very lucky to have each other, and use the coaching. 20 years of my life have been spent finding out what works, what helps people win in these difficult conversations, what helps us be effective in understanding the other side of the coin, the other person, the gender that's involved. In many cases, we may have a masculine or feminine approach that we maybe don't understand entirely, and we need more, maybe insight about what is going on with this individual and how can I support them in getting what they need so that we can move through this problem. So one of the fun ones we've had on this recently was, and again, I'm just sharing because I haven't had any questions been submitted yet. So I know this is going to really take off at some time in the near future. But in the meantime, I want to just give you an intro to what this is all about and why we're doing this, because what I believe is that you deserve to feel supported. And what I believe is that you deserve to feel like when you have a question, you get the answer and you get it in a timely fashion. And every Tuesday morning, 11 o'clock, we'll be here for you, to support you. And so you're starting to feel more like you're not alone in the journey of being a business owner. So what I found recently was kind of an interesting scenario on this topic, and that was that we have and she's almost 19, but she is literally the manager of this bakery. And one of the challenges she's had is that the supervisor is an older woman, probably 20 years her senior, and they've been having difficulty with some of the communication pieces. And one of the most important and profound pieces that came out of the discussions and the commentary and the follow through that happened in this situation is that how vital it is for ourselves and for people that we love, for us to be clear and have the clarity and the willingness to lean in on the difficult conversations. We must be clear. We must have clarity. We must have a solid feel of what it is we're after, what it is we need that we're not getting, what it is we've given up on getting, what it is that is important to us, where we're wanting this to go toward, and what is absolutely essential so that actually happens. And I think often as feminine beings, we kind of let that slide a little bit. We become a little bit, I don't know, it's kind of like waiting till the last possible moment. You recognize that? Like you are ready to burst before you go use the water closet, whatever you want to call it, on Facebook. Not water closet. We don't use that word anymore. Use the restroom. We wait till the last possible moment. We wait until we're ready. We're so famished. We're like dizzy before we eat. We are so tired. We are literally exhausted and ready to collapse before we sleep. We wait until the last possible moment to have the conversations. And then when we get to the conversation, we do a lot more projecting and possibly even blaming. I don't know if you like to play the blame game, like pointing over there. Well, if you would just, and if you would only, then I could. And this kind of entanglement has us in a world of hurt. So my joy in life is seeing us be more effective. My joy in life is seeing us really tune in to where we're missing the mark on this subject. And specifically us as women, I believe we need to be more clear. And when my daughter said, as the, again, manager of the bakery, to the supervisor that she was going to quit working at the bakery if things didn't change, I just went right to the core of the issue and I said, sweetheart, it's easy to threaten people with our quitting or I'm out of here if this doesn't change. And I don't have a problem with changing things up when things are going well. I think that's wisdom and I encourage that and support that. But when things are going awry and we're not feeling like there's any hope in it and we start throwing out threats about how we're quitting and we're done and we're not doing this anymore, I always feel like it's kind of a cowardly way, kind of like if you don't, then I. And I personally, again, 20 years of study, believe that we would be better served to just get really clear with ourselves what it is that we get to have that we're not getting, what it is that we've given up on getting, what it is that we must have, what is the clarity that we get to make sure is on the table there, so that we're not reverting or like resorting to a threat, because a threat is kind of I don't know, it's kind of like a wall, like we're going to hit that wall and then it's like, yep, see, you didn't do what I said, so I'm out of here. Well, how is that sustainable? That's my only question. I believe everything that is worth having is worth having it sustain itself. And so I just feel like we can get a lot more clear with ourselves, where we're falling short, where we are not having the difficult conversations, where we are being kind of lackadaisical in our approach to the real problem. And the real problem is our not being clear. The real problem is us not having absolute clarity about what matters most in the situation, what would make our heart sing, what would make us incredibly happy, what is most important to us in the conversation, and being willing to reveal that. We have this thing in us that says, well, that's not safe. I don't dare share that. If I share that, they'll reject me. They might use it against me, right? As seeing the person on the other side of the table or the other side of the bed or the other side of the wall as our enemy. And as we see someone as our enemy, they become our enemy, and we make sure that's true because we want to be right? We want to be justified in our righteous indignation, right? To prove that they didn't show up the way we, in our edict that you do or die, right? It's over if you don't respond how I insist that you respond. What if we could be a lot more powerful and a lot more profound in our ability to help ourselves grow and those around us grow if we just chose to be really honest with ourselves about what's really going on, like under that surface? What if we could look at where we haven't been clear, where we haven't been willing to see the other side of the coin, where we haven't been willing to see their perspective, where we haven't asked the right questions, where we haven't been committed to solving and creating a solution that works for everyone, where everyone wins. instead of kind of a win-lose thinking, which we always lose when someone's losing, right? If one person loses, everybody loses. So there's no winning when we have kind of the edict go out. Not to say there isn't time for that, and there isn't places where that makes sense. But I believe that we as beings need to step into the very best version of ourselves. And for us as women, when the queen fails to rise, either that relationship or that business or that family will die. And our job is to step into that role of being the one that is willing to take on that role of defining where the shortcoming is, where the lack is showing up in our experience, so that we remedy that with our own intuitiveness, our own creativity, our own willingness to go the distance. And that really boils down to one thing, and that's commitment. If you're committed to finding the solution, the answer, the resolution to the problem, it will present itself, and it requires a lot of humility, a lot of willingness to maybe ask for more advice from beyond the realm of that situation. Being willing to get an expert into the mix, being willing to reach out to people like me who've studied this their whole life, being willing to see it from the other side of the table, from the other side of the wall, from the other side of the bed. I believe that those are the hallmarks, the what is the word, like, I don't know, where you plant your flag in the sand. It's like, this is where I stand. There is a way through this, and I'm willing to take that. And so in this conversation with this 18-year-old, she was able to see that threatening that I'm going to leave if this doesn't change was not the answer. And she had to kind of backpedal a little bit and just say, wait, actually, what I really want is for this to resolve in a way that is going to serve everyone involved. This is what I need right now. And I got to get a lot more clear and a lot more willing to share where I'm at with where this is going, and perhaps where I may end up in the future, possibly even the near future, if because of the conversations she's been having for some time about wanting to pull out of the bakery and no longer be in that role, which all of us understand. There's points where, in our journey where we're done. We are not ready to continue doing what's not bringing out the best in us. And that makes sense. But when we're cowering or attacking, we're missing the point. It's not about cowering. It's not about attacking. When we're cowering and attacking, we are living in our animal brain. When we're obsessed with being right, we're living in our animal brain. When we are, like I say, throwing out the threats, we're really putting our opposite, our other, at a disadvantage, because suddenly they don't get the solution. They get that they're now kind of at odds, like they are now the enemy instead of the ally. And the more we can see each other as allies, the more we're going to be able to rise above the line. We're going to take the high road and choose out of this kind of the animal. You think cower and attack, does that sound like animal to you? It's like, that's what we do when we are like really affiliated or like really connected with this brain, with this body, and we're not really connecting to our spirit. Our spirit is going to be way more creative, way more willing, way more willing to go the distance and find a win for everyone. And that, again, is what I love talking about most, the win. So I'm hoping you've got some tremendous value from this. I would encourage you to consider pieces in your life or places in your life, conversations in your life, difficult conversations that you need to be having with the people in your life that you've been avoiding for fear. Whenever you have a fear that if I have that conversation, it won't go well, then it's time to get some support in that department. And that's what I love doing best. I love seeing you get the solutions, the answers, the insights that support you in moving from where you are in a bump in the road, so you don't have to deal with a block in the road. And that's what makes for winning more. And I want that for you more than I want anything. So thank you for tuning in today. It is such a privilege sharing this information with you. I hope it has offered you tremendous value. And I just invite you to get clear today. I invite you to be willing to take the time, the trouble, find quiet time to really sit with yourself, find out where you're at, what is the next best step? What is the next best way to manage and solve and work through this difficulty? And not be afraid to reach out and get help when you need it. Not be afraid to seek those who might know another perspective that you hadn't considered. And be willing to have the difficult conversations. The most successful people are willing to have the difficult conversations. And it really requires a lot of consciousness to be effective at it. So for those of you that are wanting more on this topic, please join us every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Every other Friday, we have a lunch and learn. It's 11 o'clock again, Mountain Standard Time on both of these, the Tuesday and the Friday times. And we will meet every other Friday at 11. And the lunch and learns will be able to give you a kind of an in-depth on these topics. Like we'll have a lot of fun going in depth. And we have 15 modules that we'll be covering over the next year and a half. And in that time, you'll be receiving incredible value. So we have several people that have opted in to our lunch and learn, and I invite you to do the same. I also invite you to click on the link for the coffee Q&A. It's the Google Doc, the Excel doc there that allows you to share your questions so that we can have time as a team. Myself and my team can consider your questions and make sure that you're getting the very best answers possible. And again, meet with us every Tuesday. Rain or shine, my joy is to be here for you. Show up, serve, and give you the very best morsels of research, the very best of what's available to support you in the journey so that you get the solutions, you get the answers, you get the insights that you have been looking for to help you in the difficult conversations and in the difficult challenges that you're facing in running a business, in running a home, in running a life. There's plenty of opportunity for this kind of development, and I'm here to serve you in that department. So when you're ready to win more, keep showing up. Tuesday morning, 11 o'clock, coffee Q&A. Bring your favorite drink. Tell your friends. Let's chat because there's some great stuff in here for you. So cheers to you. Hope you're having a gorgeous day. I'm looking forward to connecting more soon. As far as me and my challenges, just know that I am doing everything in my power to win, and I am planning to win a whole lot more from here. So we'll look forward to seeing that play out in its beautiful shining colors. My intentions are set, and of course I'm not in charge, but I'm going to do my best, and that's enough. So, and that goes for you too, by the way. Your best is enough. So have a wonderful day. Thanks again for joining me today. I'm so delighted to have this opportunity to connect with you, and I'm so excited to be able to connect with your questions, get more opportunity to get to know you better, see what we can do to serve you more, and make your life better and easier. So talk soon. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Bye-bye.